Welcome to Tosche Station.
We're talking Star Wars.
And tonight, we're talking about the new poster for Star Wars Episode 7! Alright, Star Wars Episode 7. It's coming! It's coming! As a matter of fact, I'm buying tickets tonight. That's right. Buying tickets for the new movie.
It's happening.
We're gonna be there. Straight up, gonna be there.
Oh, yes.
So happy. We've got a new poster out.
Yeah.
No kidding.
New poster, and we're excited.
Poster.
We're going to talk about that poster tonight, and I just want to lead off with, how excited are you, for real?
Well, okay, so I was this excited before. You know, we had the 3 trailer, well, the 2, and then Comic-Con Reel, and then the 15-second clip, and now we've actually gotten a teaser for the teaser. So there's kind of all this hype built up, and now we've got a poster as well. And being able to look at this poster, the excitement that builds in me is unexplainable. It is really amazing. Just, how it feels, how it looks. It's really kind of bringing Star Wars into a new light. And still keeping that old flair.
Yeah, Doug, what do you got?
I was about to mention that, actually. The fact that, this looks like it could fit with, this format could fit with, episode 4, 5, or 6, that sort of thing. And that's, again, one of those things that we always talk about here on Tosche Station, Star Wars relatability, and that's really awesome how we see that there in just, the spacing and the
overall
all
design. The overall design.
And I think the poster for me, what's nice about it is that it gives me a feeling of imminence. It's like, oh man.
Oh, it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Like it's almost here.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the other stuff is like, oh wow, that's so cool. Kind of the same way I would see like a fan film. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's very cool. But this, it's here, baby.
Like, yeah,
the poster's here.
This
it's
is going
October.
to be in the movie theater.
By my count, it's 2 months to game time.
Oh yeah.
2 months to the show.
This is going down.
So let's talk a little bit more about this, though. One of the first things I noticed, and I must say sadly noticed, very upset about this, Luke Skywalker is not on the poster.
He's complaining about it. I think it's a good thing.
Before I rant about this, I would like to know what you peasants think. Doug?
Oh, okay. Shall I take this case?
Yeah.
I will take this case. So, since the very get-go, since we first heard about Star Wars Episode 7 becoming a thing, we haven't seen hardly anything of Luke Skywalker. Nothing in the trailers except for his voice in the second one. Nothing in the posters or the teasers or anything. That's good, because that means there's something big with Luke going on here that we're not supposed to know yet. And there's something that's going to blow our minds as soon as we come in that theater and as soon as we see Luke Skywalker hopefully tearing it up.
Yeah, I mean, they really have to have a reason. They have to have a reason not to have Luke Skywalker in it all the way up until this point. And just the fact that he's not in the poster, of all things, we've got Han, we've got Leia. It's not like they're keeping classical characters out of it, but Luke's not here. And so, I mean, what could they do with Luke? Is he going to be a bad guy, like a part of the Sith? Is he just going to be a hermit? What kind of reveal is coming here? And that's the kind of excitement that I stated in our last video. We wanted to kind of keep that excitement for this movie so that there's just as much fresh as possible. And I think keeping Luke out is a great thing.
Let me bring this down for a second, because I automatically took it a different direction. I automatically said, well, maybe Luke just doesn't have that big a role.
Oh.
And when that happened, I thought to myself, wait a second. What if he almost mimics the Ben Kenobi role? Like, how do you feel about the idea of Luke not having much of a role in this film?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think he does have a bigger role than you might be suggesting here, mostly because of the prevalence of the way he narrated the second trailer. Like, when you narrate a trailer, you're going to have a relatively big part in a movie. Like that's sort of how it works.
At the same time, I could have seen, he's coming from the perspective of maybe him playing a Ben Kenobi role, and I could totally have seen Alec Guinness narrating one of the original Star Wars trailers. So in that way, that makes sense.
And then he's a ghostly figure in the 2 after that. I mean,
I would be fine with that sort of role, because like that's it sort of shows, how close he was to Ben, how powerful he's become, and you can just see that sort of side of him, and you can notice even in episode 6, you can see that sort of reserved sort of personality about him. I don't think that would be a bad thing, I mean, we all want to see Luke a lot, but once again, we don't want to see him. We don't want to see the old characters take over the movies, And I think having Luke be the, hermit, master, teacher character, I think that'd still be pretty cool. So that's what I think.
And let me say this. If Luke Skywalker dies, there will be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. I will instantly turn into a little girl.
Yep.
I will cry and cry all over the place.
It will be rolling
However,
down the streets.
I can see some good reason for it. And I'm not going to be the guy that's sitting there going, you can't do that. Because so far...
we've had success with our favorite characters staying alive up to this point.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think there's any reason, especially for the sake of the story, to be able to have that leeway.
Yeah.
And there's been some talk about maybe Han dying too.
Harrison Ford said at one point that a stipulation he had for coming back was that Han die.
Yeah. So
we don't know if that got cleared up or not.
So what's going to happen with that? We don't know. But I think it's something that it could add to the story if they do it right. And pretty much anything, as long as they do it right, it can add to the story.
Yeah,
and I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, I'm personally sort of an advocate for. It sounds terrible, but I'm an advocate for them dying. But I don't want them to die. But I think,
good for the story.
It's good. It could be good for the story. They're old,
Good point.
Yeah,
and again, we don't want them to take over the new movies.
That's true.
We don't want the old characters to take over the new movies.
Okay.
For the new guys.
Let's progress here. Well, going back to the poster, you'll notice over on the kind of left side, kind of near Kylo Ren's lightsaber, you see this little dude. Do you think this is a Yoda figure? What do you got?
I would guess that this guy is either Andy Serkis's character, the Supreme Leader Snoke, or another one of the motion capture characters. Obviously, because of the small frame, he's an alien of sorts, but he's on the poster, so that would make us assume that he has some importance. However, Luke's not on the poster, so maybe there's a reason for keeping them out. We haven't seen Supreme Leader Snoke at all either. We've heard his voice, we've heard Luke's voice. They were the two narrators, and we haven't seen anything of them. So, what's going to come out of this? I have no idea. But as far as this character, he could be somebody. He could just be filling in a background. He might be a very important part who only shows up in one scene. How can we tell?
Yeah. Now, I have just one more thought here, just to throw that out there just as a theory. But I'm taking a look at this little dude over here, and it looks like, if you look really closely, it sort of looks like he has one of the pilot vests on, like
sure, okay,
like the other.
Dude, that's true. Yeah. It almost looks
like
he's a rebel pilot.
See, I have a theory about that. You go ahead.
Yeah, but it also looks like he has goggles on and like sort of a helmet. So I'm thinking maybe he's some sort of pilot or some sort of fighter for. Or what appears to be the rebels,
That's
but
awesome.
They're probably not the rebels anymore. It's probably some different
The Resistance.
The Resistance, whatever.
Okay, here's my theory. My theory is new co-pilot.
That'd be sweet.
This is the new cool co-pilot. Lando Calrissian got one. Han's got one. There's a co-pilot thing. R2 is a co-pilot character.
That's true.
Well, there's also Wedge and Biggs. So,
you get to see a lot of that, and we're seeing an emphasis on X-Wings and all that stuff, and so I wouldn't be surprised if that theme comes back up a little bit, and frankly, I'd be totally cool with that.
And I gotta admit, that theory kind of excites me, because that little dude looks like he'd be a lot of fun.
He does.
And
and
it'd
be a great placement for it, too.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the sort of character that you put there
right there
to have some fun.
And then in the next one, he's kind of farther, Yeah. Okay. Check it out.
Moving on.
Real quick, I want to point out something, because this really surprised me. I thought it was a sand person at first. But it's C-3PO. What is up with C-3PO's face? What do you think?
I don't know.
You see that gray stuff kind of going on at the bottom of his face, like right in his mouth?
It could just be the quality of the picture, He's kind of far back there. there's potential that he's been in some fighting. Perhaps it's left him scarred. I don't think that'll necessarily be a large plot point. But it's kind of impactful to the Star Wars universe in a way. Anything that would happen to R2 or 3PO, with them having been in all of the movies thus far, could have an emotional impact, no matter how long it takes, no matter how much emphasis they put on it. So if over the 30 years that we've been gone from this universe, C-3PO has suffered a little bit of damage, we might take some heart into that, and different kind of damage than episode 2, though. Like, nobody cared. But, actual damage.
Yeah.
It could be kind of impactful in that way, I think.
Yeah.
So, how are we liking Finn with the lightsaber? Obviously, we've seen this before, but we get a good look at it. Blue, obviously.
I'm going to throw this out. Finn is actually probably the character I'm least excited about.
Oh,
right
man.
now, actually.
Wow.
Not because I think he's the one I'm going to be most pleasantly surprised with. Because I don't know why the guy they cast for him was cast there.
Yeah.
I don't know why. And so the curiosity I have about him is kind of overcoming my oh, look at the lightsaber, part. That being said, looks good.
He
looks real good with the lightsaber.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's Finn in particular is a little bit more difficult to sort of see why is he there, what's going on with him. But I do think he definitely looks really good with that lightsaber in his hands. Though it is really hard not to look good with a lightsaber in your hand. But I like how he looks, and I think it's one of those things where I trust J.J. Abrams. I think it's gonna work out pretty well.
Well,
so.
I gotta say, I kind of disagree with both of you guys on that.
Well,
I think Finn is really the really outstanding character in all of these pieces. I mean, he's the one who everybody's talking about, like, is he a stormtrooper or is he a spy or this, and he's really kind of popping out in that way. And then you see him with a lightsaber, and so he's obviously not always going to be a stormtrooper. He's got to have some kind of path in that direction.
Well, yeah. I have a theory about this. Finn is Luke's Padawan. That's my theory.
And that'd be awesome.
Finn is Luke's Padawan. He's a part of the Empire, and Luke finds him. And what's happening is Kylo Ren and Luke Skywalker are fighting over Finn. Because Finn is the Force Awakening. That's my theory.
Which is funny because that's sort of what happens in the original trilogy too with Luke himself.
Exactly.
It's sort of a fight.
You see a tussle.
It's sort of a fight between Yoda and Vader trying to get at
or Ben
Luke.
Kenobi and Vader.
Yeah, Ben Kenobi. So
no, but the poster suggests Finn has the lightsaber, but the poster does suggest that Rey is actually the focal point of the movie. So I mean, obviously we got the big bad guy in the background. And Finn's off to the side. He's a key part, but Rey is the center point.
And let me bring this around again. I think that's really cool because it's like the original trilogy in that it's not emphasized. It's not Star Wars is Jedi. It's Star Wars is this story, this battle between good and evil, and Jedi are in the midst of this, fighting for one side or the other. Absolutely. And I think that's really cool how they emphasize Rey in this picture, not Finn or even Kylo Ren as much. And so I think that's pretty cool. I think we've been dancing around this for a while. I think it's time to take a look in the top right corner. What appears to be resembling the Death Star. Take a look at this.
Death Star.
Someone, what's going on here? Help me out.
Well, I was almost a little worried when I first saw this, and everybody I've shown so far, except for him, thought it was a Death Star. And I kind of agreed with him, but I actually worried. He relieved me a little bit when he proposed his idea. Do you want to...
Okay, yeah, here we go. So what I noticed about the Death Star here, I don't think it's a Death Star. I think this is something that was constructed really under wraps and that sort of thing. It looks to me like it's actually a sphere that opens up, and I think that we might be getting a little proportion off here. Like, it could be something much smaller, That being said, it could be something much larger, but I think the entire idea here, I think if you look at the grooves in it, you can see that it could easily close up together. So I think at some point the imminent threat will be this thing's opening up, and oh my goodness, we're racing against the clock again. That's kind of where I'm coming from on it.
But does it worry you at all, or either of you, that this might kind of take the same role as the Death Star, and Luke might be taking the same role as Ben Kenobi, and we might kind of be following the same mold?
A little bit, yeah. It does. There are a lot of clues that sort of suggest that we might be following the same pattern. But at the same time, I mean, we've also just seen a whole bunch of new stuff. In terms of seeing new locations, new types of characters, also, and once again, we know nothing about this movie. Let's be honest with ourselves. We know nothing about the plot.
Yeah, I mean, we can say all we want.
Let me say this though about this new Death Star thing and that whole thing. I love the design. I really do.
That's pretty cool.
Look at it. It's a TIE fighter inside of a moon. You see that?
It's true.
I think that's totally sweet. I think that what we're getting a hint at here is we're getting just more of that kind of homage to the original look of Star Wars, and that really brings me in. I also like that it's an homage to the prequel trilogy's color scheme. If you look at it, it's got a red core. If you remember in the prequels, they did a lot with this like red and coloration and that sort of thing, whereas in the original trilogy, it was blacks and whites, grays and that sort of thing for especially the dark side and all that. So it's interesting seeing how they've kind of twisted the two together to create this, and I'm actually pretty excited to see how they play it, because I think, and I'm not saying this for sure, but this could be a way to just throw us off of the scent of what's really going on. You put a Death Star on the poster and everybody's crying Death Star.
Yeah, knowing J.J. Abrams, that's probably what's going on there. He's probably
kind of done that a little bit so far. So.
He really has.
Hey, is there anything else we want to touch on about this poster?
Oh yeah, we ain't done yet. Check this out. Okay, first of all, I want to note that on in the poster we can see old guns, new guns. We can see we got the Han's blaster on there.
Yeah,
we've got Chewie's blaster on there, but then we get a little shot of the new Stormtrooper rifles as well.
Yeah.
And the rifle being held by the Chrome Trooper.
and
Captain Phasma.
It's not actually a Chrome Trooper, but, it's a Chrome Trooper, so whatever.
It rhymes with clone.
My real question is, and this is only half serious, but do you think the new Trooper blasters are going to shoot straight?
I think so.
I think the upgraded tech, I think they're actually going to be more dangerous.
One can only hope.
Yeah. I mean, for those of you that don't know, J.J. Abrams did put a lot of emphasis into even just the Stormtrooper blasters themselves. He actually put air canisters in the guns to make them have
recoil
kickback. Yeah. Awesome. So, not that that's really indicative of anything, but it's kind of cool just to kind of see the kind of detail that they put into that.
Sure.
So that being said, the Stormtroopers might hit stuff and they might not. Either way, it's going to be cool, because if they do hit stuff, finally the Stormtroopers are getting the glory that they deserve.
Yeah.
If they don't hit stuff, then they're staying congruent with the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, you're right. That's true. They don't have to be dangerous. They never were. Yeah. They were dangerous for about 10 minutes in A New Hope at the very beginning.
Very beginning.
Doug.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to throw to you real quick. Where do you think the Empire is at this point? Because we are years later. Where do you think the Empire is at this point?
Well, obviously, we know that the Empire, or we can guess at least that the Empire is relatively disbanded. Their two main leaders, Darth Vader and Emperor Darth Sidious, are dead. And so either someone has stepped up to take the place of the commander, the big honcho, like Snowed or whatever his name is. Snoke. I'm still working on the names, guys. But Snoke might have taken the place, or maybe Kylo Ren is trying to establish his authority as a new ruler of the Empire. I mean, there are a lot of options there as to what could be going on. Maybe the Empire doesn't exist anymore. Maybe it's a whole new faction of baddies. We don't really know. So.
It is officially labeled the New Order, so we know that much.
Okay,
it's not officially the Empire. They have a new symbol. They have, obviously, a new leader. We've heard of General Hux as well. Just these kind of new figures kind of taking control. I think it's Hux.
Okay.
Husk
But,
is on corn.
Yeah, that's true. It's okay, Doug. I almost said Fire Lord Ozai earlier. Don't
Oh
worry.
dear. So anyway, there are some new pieces. There's some new pieces, but
As we take a turn for the worst.
Funny, because Fire Lord Ozai was also voiced by Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker. Moving on.
Okay. And in other news, okay, last thing I want to emphasize here about the poster, this is a general feel about it thing. How do you feel about the balance of new to old on this? Because obviously we're seeing a lot of new, but man, you got Han Solo right there in the middle, man. And I mean, that made me feel really good seeing Han Solo right there. What do you think? New to old, how do you feel?
well, it looks well balanced in my mind because of the direction they're taking it. You know, if they were taking it to where the old characters still kind of reign supreme, then this would obviously lack a little bit. But they've been carrying these new characters in a way that is kind of indicative of them passing on the torch. So I think the balance is fine. I really like it that Han and Leia finally look like Han and Leia.
Yeah.
Even in the shot where we got Han saying Chewie, we're home, I loved it. You know, it's beautiful, but he didn't really look like Han so much as just really Harrison Ford trying to pull it together.
Send all your hate mail to him.
Please do. I will take it. That's fine. But this picture is really carrying the weight of Han, I think, and it's really making me happy for that. So the balance is just fine.
Also, Carrie Fisher is rocking the crazy hair again.
Yes.
Just saying.
Woo, hooray
And
for
she
crazy
looks,
hair.
she
We
looks
missed you.
good. All right. So, hey, do we have anything else before?
Oh boy.
Well,
Well,
there's probably more to say, but not at the
Absolutely.
moment. Make sure you guys comment below and subscribe to the station, as well as liking this video, and heck, share it with a couple people.
Absolutely. Be sure to check out the description below, too. We'll have some of our other videos there. And as always, may the Force be with you.
may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.